GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every weeknight. Well, not every weeknight anymore. We used to come to you live every weeknight, and we do this at midnight Eastern. One, because it lines up cool with that excerpt from Red Dawn. Also, because we value the people that reset the planet, that do things overnight on the night shift, and so we do our stuff live for those folks. I'm also here in Arizona, where during the heat of the year, I like doing my stuff overnight, sleeping during the day. But yeah, we're also being corked tonight. Everybody knows it. It's the elephant in the room, and we're being corked. It's messed up, man. It's messed up. But we're gonna go ahead and do this anyway. We're going live anyway. First off, super chats involve getting this dog a super treat. So super chats are super treats. That's what happens when you super chat. You're not obligated to super chat, but when you do super chat, this dog will get a mini bite made out of roasted gizzard. And you're not obligated. You don't have to. This dog can starve to death. It's no big deal. He might eventually fall over because of his starvation, but it's no big deal. It's not your fault. All right, we're going to when we close what's going on back over there, we don't need that going on up here. And we're going raw today. This was a kind of week where I wasn't able to get everything set up. Normally, our Friday show is a look back at what's been going on. See how he's looking back? It's a look back at what's been happening with the Second Amendment, not guns, because who cares about guns, honestly. Guns are going to happen with whether or not people are paying attention to them on YouTube. Guns are part of our country, part of our culture, right? They're part of our industry. Like, they're not going anywhere. Guns are good to go. Second Amendment, however, the right for us to fiddle with them guns and have access the way it's supposed to be, as opposed to having a bunch of people get convinced that those are some sort of a privilege and that only certain people should have guns. That's more of an issue. So, being around guns my whole life, and seeing this stuff come and go, and interest in this stuff wax and wane. Sorry, no pun intended to the Waynes out there. But seeing how things come and go, my focus is on Second Amendment at this point. Like I say, guns, grip angles, red dots. Somebody will surprise. Somebody will help that stuff. They'll manage to keep that stuff going. But the stuff that matters, the stuff that keeps people focused on what's really important and what can make a difference, that's a little tougher to keep focused on. So that's what we do here on Fridays. It's a long way of saying I usually attempt to promote the stuff that could use the promotion and the stuff that's of value, and do this for a couple of reasons. One, so we can go live on Friday and catch up and keep track, because otherwise, if you just try to keep track in your mind or without doing it in some kind of a system, then it just gets lost. All the determination in the world isn't going to, all the discipline in the world isn't going to keep it going. So we try to do it as an actual show. So one, that's one of the motivations. Doing it as a show keeps us doing it. Second is we are on YouTube for sure, but we're on a lot of other places. We started out on the internet. Actually, we started out doing some stuff before the internet's back in the old days. But we started out on the internet with websites, And then as the social platforms came along, of course, we were using those. But before those, even, I wasn't satisfied with the forums that were out there back in the early 2000s. So we built our own forums. And when that technology kind of came and went, we jumped onto social platforms and other phenomenons, I guess, things ways that we've used to communicate throughout the years. And right now, sure, we're on YouTube, but we're on quite a few other places. So what we do is we take this Friday show as an opportunity to create a YouTube video, but at the same time, we're going to, how much am I putting on here? I'm bidding right now, so I'm going to put a $5 on this, a $5 bill. So in addition to the YouTube, we're trying to make this Friday archive something that we can spread around to the different social platforms and to our different pieces of content, like our blog and our Patreon page, things like that. So I just put in a bid, 13 seconds left, and it's down to 3, 2, 1. Oh, dang. I'm glad I put in $5 because it did go up to $5. I got an 18-inch ring light for $5. Essentially, evidently, it's a $60 retail, and I got it for $5. So right now, this is the ring light that I'm using. Let's say I wanted to light up that dog right now with the good kind of lighting, not the podcast kind of lighting, but the good lighting. Boom. That would be the ring light that we use to light them up. But this ring light is not expensive enough. Now we have a $60 ring light to light them up. It'll look even better. Should we leave the ring light on him? I don't think he minds when the ring light's on him. All right, I got to put it back. All right. So, got a new ring light coming. All right, so give me a little less distracted. I only have a couple more auctions, and none of them are consequential. That one's not that one. I kind of want this one, but I can handle not getting it. That, I don't care. I already got one just like it. That will be interesting. I haven't gotten one all night. That I think I'll get, but I'm not sure. And we got another ukulele coming, so we'll see if we win this ukulele in about a half an hour. All super chats will go towards the ukulele, and we'll give this dog not just a pat on the head, but gizzards in his belly. All right. So thanks to Gunmetal for chatting and a logarithm in us. All right. So thanks everybody joining us live. It's been kind of a sloppy show, if you can't tell. Ron Wayne is out there. G23 is out there. Miss Wayne is out there as well. Mrs. Wayne is out there. How am I supposed to say that? And Pony 47. Good evening. And if I'm missing anybody, you didn't say nothing. Oh, Roy said something. So good evening. And again, I'll try to be less distracted. We go on live on Friday to archive what happened throughout the week on focus on the Second Amendment. And normally I do this kind of throughout the week. I'll set this stuff up. Often I used to do it on Sundays, but now do I blame the Sunday shows for not being there anymore? Yeah, because Come and Talk It quit doing their show on Sundays, at least. They intermittently do it on Wednesdays now. And then Locked and Loaded quit doing their show. I quit listening to Second Amendment Foundation stuff, so I don't listen to their show. And that means I only really listen to She Fires on Sunday when I'm around. And I can sometimes get some stuff done, but I've only been able to listen to like her show twice. But anyway, I used to stay home on Sundays to get stuff done because I could get stuff done while I listened to those shows, and it worked out real well. We had 3 different radio shows. The Gun Owners Radio on Sundays. We had Locked and Loaded Latinos, and then we had the stuff on, Eye on the Target from Second Amendment Foundation hosted Plate Society podcast, I guess. So I should scroll back to where I'm not paying attention. So normally I would be doing all this preparatory work on Sunday, getting it all started and kind of getting all the formatting in. And then throughout the week, I have something to add to. Well, what happens if I don't do any of that? At the end of the week, I got to do it all. And then it gets scary because if I don't have time on Friday to do it, guess what happened today? I didn't have time to do it. Do I blame this dog? Yeah, I'll blame that dog. Why not? It's his fault. Look at him. Doesn't he look like he's guilty of not giving me time to do stuff today? For example, I was trying to get up today, and this little dog, I don't know if you know this about animals, but they have this ability. So right now, he's about this big. He's about 18 pounds of fat, and he's as big as this Kurgo dog thing. It's like a dog car seat, but he uses it here because it matches my desktop and everything. He uses it as a little doggy bed. Well, right now he's as big as one Kurgo. Well, when he feels like it, like let's say I want to get up and he don't want to get up, he has the ability to squish himself down to be about this big, and then he opens up his eyes real big, and then he somehow loses all of his bones and turns into a big squish ball, like a squishmallow. And now he's like going, oh, I don't want to wake up. I'm a big squishmallow. And how are you supposed to wake up when there's a little tiny squishmallow sitting there? And then you end up squishing him for a little while like this, and you don't get no work done. So is it his fault? Yes. How am I supposed to get any work done with this dog sitting there being a squishy? So very difficult for me. Very difficult for me to get work done, at least today. So let's blame him for that, and we'll move on. So what we're going to do today is just do this thing raw. We're going to just do it without a script, unlike the other show that's corking us right now, which has a script and is being scripted as it's being corked right now. That's a scripted show, completely there for the views, for the fame and glory. Unlike that one, complete opposite of that, complete authenticity here. Nothing but authentic 2A here. So we're going to just dig into my channel. So we're looking at the channel over here, and right now I just clicked on home. So that's basically nothing. That's stuff that YouTube thinks I might want. But if I click on subscriptions, that's the stuff I actually subscribe to. And you can tell YouTube's an idiot because it has sports on here. I don't know why it would have that on there, probably because some of you people talk about sports in front of me, and now YouTube puts sports in there. But yeah, I have no idea why it's trying to shove sports at me. But here we go. Somebody's corking us, and then here's us. Fake. We just used a little fake image today. This dog with some bacon. Bacon on bacon. That's what that you could call that. Bacon cooking bacon. You could call it that too. I'm trying to debate if I should bid on this thing it's at $1. No shit, it just went to $2. No, I had it at $1. Somebody put it to $2. I'm wondering if I should put $3 on it. I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna be distracted. I can't help it. If I had like 10, 15 more Patreons, I probably wouldn't have to be this distracted with stuff. But right now, I need to be this distracted. Speaking of Patreons, we got DJ throwing out the, what do they call these things? Essentially, it's a super chat, but it's a super chat from channel members. So thanks for being a channel member. Thanks for posting that up there. Gives us a chance to say hey and to appreciate the people that are essentially buying us a cup of coffee. Some people are buying us lunch once a month. So $5, $20 a month, whatever it is people are in. And then that adds up and it accumulates, and then it lets us pay for the servers mainly. That's the big cost. And then some software. I'd like to buy more software. There's about $300 worth of software each month that I'd like to buy. That's $300 software things. What do you think would happen if I had access to $300 software packages? Would I be sitting on that laughing, or would I be kicking some shit in some ass? So definitely would like to have about $300 more over on Patreon, because right now I can't afford. There's no way I could afford to just throw $100. Plus, even if I did, I'd be working my ass off constantly, like I'm doing right now with this stupid auction. And I wouldn't have time to do anything with that software. But it turns out I'm glad I farted around, because it was not worth bidding $4 on that one. I'll let it go. All right, so back to it. I got about 6 minutes before the next one bothers me. Thanks again for the people that do support what we're doing. We're not supported by it, but it does allow the websites to stay up and stay current. It gives us some time to work on everything. And going forward, we're going to be able to grow again, ideally. Chris is saying, anyone seeing the ban on exports of firearms? No. All right, so let's dig into this. Is our YouTube channel, and this is what it's suggesting I watch right now. So, the Quarker. Got Crump out there. Crump is going to be a guest on the show on Monday. So we're getting back to doing interviews on Monday. Thanks again to the Patreons and channel members. So, sorry, I don't know if I got a disease or if it's allergies or what's going on, but I had a coughing fit right there. Crump will be on as we get back into the swing of things with interviews. Not every week. I'm not crazy. I'm not able to do that yet. But we'll be hopefully going like live and then Memrex and then live and then Memrex. So we'll be doing a live interview as often as possible and then going back and doing some of the best interviews from the vault type of thing. I believe we're calling it Liberty's Echo. And Crump will be our first guest on there. I could go through the list, but essentially this is all the stuff that I subscribe to that YouTube is shoving at me, because that means these are all the people that posted something. So if I subscribe to you and you posted something, it's going to be in this list. Now that's a lot different than my history. And that's what we're going to take a look at, because what YouTube thinks I want to watch ain't at all the same as what I do watch. So this is the history. We'll zoom in on it. And this is where I get a majority of the Friday show. But like I say, I usually kind of create the show as I'm watching this stuff. So let's go. Let's see. So the last thing here is Crump. I think I just clicked on that right now, so that doesn't really count. First, let's get rid of that stupid menu. And can I make it any bigger? What is going on? I'm fighting my own computer here. So I just go in and zoom in on the browser. And then in this case, I have to pop the browser out of being full screen, yank it over into another monitor so that y'all can see just the video part and not all the wasted garbage. Okay, so that also means my scroll is going to be kind of weird. Oh, I should probably also move y'all over here. All right, so is Princess Kicking Butt? Is that Ting Ting? Welcome. Hope everybody's having a good evening/week. And I do appreciate the people that join us live. I kind of do this for the podcast, and we'll be doing that more. One of those $100 software packages is towards the podcasting side of things. But even without that, we do the podcasts on a semi-regular basis. So we do appreciate the people that follow us live. But I consider these podcasts, I consider these audio. Even though there's a cute little puppy in the corner right here that it can be at any time can be fed through a super chat. Actually, DJ is what do you call that thing? I don't know what they call it. The YouTube channel member chat, let's call it that, is essentially a super chat, and it was for like 20 months or something. No, it's for 30 months. So there's for the first 10 months. There's for the second 10 months. And if he'll eat it, if I can get this dog who's food driven to eat it, this will be for the third 10 months of DJ's channel membership. So thank you very much for that. In fact, I think he just did one for Gizzard, and wasn't it like 28 months? So I'm just saying 2 months more than the Gizzard. That's all I'm saying. 2 months more than the Gizzard. All right. Well, so I know that some people in the gun community say I shouldn't have a dog on the podcast at all, let alone on a Second Amendment related podcast. It's verboten. I've literally been told not to do it. This is the answer to that right there. So, let's see. He wants bacon? Yes, he likes bacon. Okay. So, I hear what you're saying out there. I'm not going to get all excited about news of the day. We definitely have to deal with politics, and we definitely should be aware of that stuff. But on Friday, what I'm trying to do is focus on the stuff that's of worth and not the back and forth. So the back and forth is frustrating, and it has to be observed, but it doesn't have to be participated in. That's my suggestion. You can take it or leave it. So we're going to jump back into here, and oh, look at that. You got the Quarker. Should I remove the Quarker from my history? Nah, I'm not petty. I'm not in it for the fame and fortune. But yeah, He's over there corking at me and Gizzard. He could have just done it earlier in the day where it wouldn't have bothered anybody except maybe the reloaders. But nah, he has to jump right on top of me and Gizzard, stand right on our necks. Gizzard was just sitting there minding his business, gets his next step done. I'm sitting over here trying to do my thing, get my next step done. Anyway, Team House was on earlier today. They had this conversation with Yaya, a CIA analyst from Middle East, and super interesting. CIA is crazy different than what people think in the movies, and listening to real people talk about the world, who've dealt with the world, like literally at CIA intelligence gathering levels, is pretty interesting. And hearing what they do after that, once they have been plugged into that, what they do with their lives, super interesting. I'm telling you, these military interview shows are enlightening. Speaking about enlightening, who would have thought Clover would have a good podcast? I know, whatever. It happens once in a while. Stopped clock happens once in a while, or something like they say. So he had unapologetically armed on. She doesn't ever stay up late for this show, but an actual activist. And instead of just talking about her favorite shotgun or how come she doesn't like shotguns enough or whatever the normal questions Clover asked, he asked her some pretty decent questions, and they had a pretty good conversation. I learned a lot about the DC meetup, or the travel to DC that they just got back from. And I'm hoping to have Susan on our show on one of these Mondays as a guest, because then we'll consider Clover's as the opening act, where she talks about herself and her origin story and that kind of thing. And then our interview can just get super nerdy and talk about the DC, the Women for Gun Rights, aka formerly known as the DC Project, and that kind of thing. So I guess that was, I don't remember when that was. I think that was yesterday, and I missed it. Again, I've got to be doing stuff over here to make the money. And so I missed it live. And also, I think I was sleeping. When it was on. And again, reference this dog being soft and cuddly when I'm trying to wake up. It's very difficult. Very difficult. So that was yesterday, or that was maybe earlier today. I'm trying to remember. But yesterday, it says, I watched the Arizona Game and Fish does their wildlife views. Normally this gets pushed way to the end of the show, but you're seeing it in the order I watched it, not necessarily the order of its Second Amendmentness. But this is a good one. They talk about the wolves. When I first moved out to Arizona, they were just bringing in Mexican wolves, and there's a whole bunch of people that can't handle that. They do not like predators. They can't handle predators. They got to kill predators whenever they see them. Real men can handle predators. That's all I'm saying. So, they're being introduced. They haven't quite have 200 of them here in Arizona yet, but the story of how they've brought them back, reintroduced them, given them a territory, and how the environment, how the world has dealt with that has been super interesting to experience. It's one of my things in Arizona. Like I said, I just happened to move here right when everything was happening. Let's see. So next up, you get the mass murderer and the 2A cops, who I mention every once in a while, their interpretation of that guy. Then you get, I'm not going to really mention the bullshit news of the week, but obviously it makes some sort of a ripple, and there's plenty of new people, plenty of people who are only in the stadium seats watching, and they're going to cheer and boo and do whatever on cue. But so there's going to be that for sure. I'll ignore that as much as possible. But then there are some people who are going to address it in new ways, address it in useful ways. And here's essentially the two things that will address it. The 2A cops talking about the fact that he's not an instructor, and then Crump, an investigative reporter, figuring out that there's this new hog coming, this new kid who's using this as his jumping off point. So I don't know if anybody watched that, but Crump does a quick video there to explain that. There's, what's his face, the Quarker, making a video, counting coup, just telling everybody, hey, I'm going to be corking. Now, most of us thought he was going to do it at a reasonable hour, but nope, he did it at right on top of everybody else, right on top of our necks. I'm not bitter. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be done that way, but that's what he's doing, the way he did it. Arizona Wildlife Views. It's that same. It might be a different one. Let's see. Then we've got Professor Yamane talking about his books. So if you've been paying attention to his projects, some of his projects have been his books, and one of his books got do you call it got published? Is being published. He has a publisher, and he didn't want to jinx nothing, but this was his first announcement, I guess. We kind of assumed that was what was coming, but here we got the confirmation, so to speak. DJ's putting the link to, I think it's now called the womenforgunrights.org or something like that. Let me go find it, I guess. But they're not using that anymore. So, womenforgunrights.org. But evidently, according to Susan during Clover's interview, it was too difficult to explain all the time what DC Project meant, what it was about. So they picked a name with an explanation in the title. So Women for, I like to do this and capitalize the actual words when they're whole strung together like this so our brains can see it a little easier. But this is what the new DC Project is. Yeah, thanks. All right, so happy to plug them. We'll keep moving. Then Jaeger had the Jaeger channel did a video. I don't know what to call it. It's not Jaeger anymore, but it's the Jaeger channel. What did I see? Dude, I see something with somebody on TikTok, or maybe it was Instagram, but I think it was an Instagram that was from TikTok, was posting the hot crazy Matrix thing. People still, they don't care where that came from. People don't pay attention to where that came from. They just think it's funny. But to see that over and over is interesting on one level. But then out of nowhere, James comes out of the side and starts laughing. So it's kind of, you don't expect to see stuff sometimes, and then you see stuff, and that's what probably being a human is all about. Brings up a bunch of stuff. All right, well, so now we've got Meet the Pressers. They've been doing it. They've been getting some interviews that nobody else is bothering with. So they had on Chris Pruitt, who is the guy from the insurance side, guy who's a salesman, and then a couple years ago started working with the insurance side of USCCA. Interesting period. I'll just leave it there. Interesting conversation to listen to. Reverend Ken Blanchard, wait a minute here, has been calling about Spoon, or it has the Spoon channel going. And I don't know if this is something that's legit, or if it's a song that he's playing, or if this is him. So Ken Blanchard is one of the people that was doing Second Amendment focused stuff back in the olden days, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, when I was just starting to get online. And when I looked around and thought, what can I do on the line here? I saw Ken over there doing Second Amendment stuff, not just gun-related stuff, but Second Amendment advocacy. And that, right off the bat, was one of my first experiences with gun-related stuff, and one of the reasons I've never really pursued just talking about grip angles and red dots. It was always to explain and to archive and to illuminate gun ownership. So Ken, has done lots of stuff. He's lived a long life, and he's had a lot of experiences, and he's officially left Second Amendment advocacy, but those of us who have known him for a while still follow his projects and things. And this is one of his projects where he got this, I think that's a guitar, right? It's just a regular guitar, a long time ago, and a couple of years ago now. And he's been, steadily getting better and better and sharing some of that. And in this case, this funky Halloween stuff. So like I said, I don't know if that's copyrightable or not, but Clover Tech is also pandering to Second Amendment by having Chris Chang on. earlier this week, Tuesday. So, you never know when Time Clover's going to go live. This one I was able to catch. It was a good one. He's talked to Chris a million times, so, they had a lot of stuff to talk about, but essentially just catching up with Chris and not so much on news of the day. Quite a bit of talk about Top Shot, though. I guess questions came in about Top Shot. Yeah, so Gun Owners of America's thing now is to do, it'll tell you over here when I normally do this, I don't get the little timestamp. I guess one of the benefits of doing this right on YouTube is you get the little timestamp. So a 41-minute show where they talk to these two ex-marketing people, or marketing, whatever they're called, like marketing realm people, come to the marketing guy from EAA, and they talk about this 1968 Gun Control Act. It is what it is. I'll just leave it right there. So then we've got Cape Gun Works attempting to quote Toby Now's running the gun shop. He's doing the podcast / radio show, doing the advocacy with his segment with Grace Curley every week. So there's 3 demands on his time weekly. Then, with all the craziness going on in Massachusetts, creating awareness and an urgency to combat, and the infrastructure, the how to combat the whatever it's called now, HR. Well, it used to be 4420. Let's just say whatever it's called now. And then on top of that, he decided at some point to attempt to run for office. So he's been campaigning for a local election, and I forget what the role is. He's but it's nothing big. It's just something to get a foot in the door and have a person in office who's aware of the things that he's passionate about. So definitely a full plate, and his schedule, his consistency of the podcast has suffered. A couple of weeks he's had to jump the podcast to Thursday instead of Wednesday, and then I think he even had to forfeit the show 1 week in order to travel and to make the other accommodations. So this week they went live at the normal time. Well, I think it was the normal time, but they went live for a full 2 hours just chatting, and no guests or anything, and a pretty fun show to catch up with the shop and hear what's happening, and again, insightful. Unfortunately, it's not all good news, but yeah, it's great radio show, great gun shop, great advocate, and he's sharing it so you can experience the ups and downs. I don't know if I don't know if he's intentionally doing that. I don't think he is, from knowing him as long as I've known him now. But that's what's happening, is you're seeing actual activism being archived. Not very many people are able to comfortably archive what they're doing and then do stuff. People that can archive what they do are super scared. They're like total cowards. Especially if they can archive things good, if they can make good videos and they know what they're doing, they're cowards. They're only going to do the safest thing so that everybody loves their shit. But people that just do stuff, they almost never are able to record it, because they're too busy doing it. They're too busy experiencing, or getting in trouble, or winning or losing, and they hardly ever record it. So experiencing someone who's doing and able to document it, and taking the time to document it, because being able to is one thing. I suppose a lot of people are able to, but they don't. So you get the trifecta here with Cape Gun Works that you don't see in any other thing in the industry. Every other thing in the industry is so worried about patting themselves on the fucking back that their wrists are all goofy. Anyway, so then we got our Wednesday show right before the Rapid Fire Radio Show. We go live and essentially bring as much as we can from Instagram to YouTube for the lazy people who are scared to go look at pictures, and to spread the information, spread the awareness, and the people that are actually doing a focus on good stuff. Now this week, the Women for Gun Rights did their DC visit, so most of our attention was on the ladies that were posting pictures of that along the way in different ways, getting as much info as we can. I really would like to bring a couple of ladies from who attended the DC visit this year together on a chat to talk about everything, the details and the big picture stuff. All right, so we do that. I guess I have probably opened this last week's one to get the copy and paste everything over. This was Tony Blower. I don't know how many people know Tony Blower. But I'd seen something on Instagram or something, and I went over and searched for Tony Blower, and I found this essentially like a 1 hour demo that he did with a self-defense class. He's got I think he says he weaponizes the flinch. Yeah, he says it right here, weaponizing the flinch. So it's just it's a martial art, or it's a fighting style that he's developed after, his life experience, and it's got its advantages and its disadvantages like anything. So I was just watching that. Let's see. So then we got what's his face, the Rip Off show, and DJ hanging out on Tuesday, ripping this show off poorly. Then we get Ghost, who chats with a bunch of people from the industry. And what were they talking about? I think they were just chatting. Or wait, was this one Bug Out Bags? Yeah, I think it was Bug Out Bags, and Ghost was just sitting there by himself this time. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I just seen a piece of it. Then you got Riding Shotgun with Charlie and Jim Shepard, The Outdoor Wire, publisher at SHOT Show. Huh. Publisher at SHOT Show. I was in the media room with my good friend Penn Patriot. We decided, all right, well, I don't know who this is. I didn't listen to it, so I don't even know why it's in my feed. I'll probably put it in my feed to create this show, and then I thought I'd listen to it, but then I got busy and never listened to it. Let's see. Then we got our Liberty's Echo show, what I mentioned, for Monday. It's the new Monday flashback. We did the video of Mike Deddy. I probably should have played more than one video. I got like probably 8 videos of Mike Deddy. All right, well, I'm having a coughing fit, so here's what we're doing. Here's what's happening. First, I'm waking the puppy up so he doesn't have to sleep through my coughing fit, because he's always snorting and coughing and waking me up. So now I can cough. And then we're going to play a commercial so I can drink a bunch of my coffee over here and hopefully get rid of whatever's making
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What happens on Saturday?
AskGunQuestions.com is a website that we built back in 2007, and since then, for the last 15 years, people have been able to ask questions of simple to advanced nature, and we attempt to answer them in different ways over the years. Join us now as we start a new series to answer gun questions.
Trying not to cough, hitting the dang mute button. Oh, I missed another ukulele. Dang it. I missed that thing too. Dang it. Did I get any of this stuff? I got the thing I didn't care about. Oh, dang it. I missed that thing and I wanted it. Dang, 17 minutes ago. Do I blame you? Yeah, you're getting karate chopped. Does it look like I'm karate chopping them? All right, we'll go back to the show. All right. Dang it. I kind of wanted that ukulele. I was winning it for a little while, and then I lost it. All right, well, so I was going to say I should have probably played a few more of these interviews with Mike. I don't know what I was thinking. We ended up chatting about the movie and making the movie, reminiscing. I don't know if that's fun or not, but I'm going to start doing that just so that we don't lose some of these interviews that we've done over the years. I make interviews that aren't necessarily super exciting and fun, but they do archive the kind of boring Second Amendment stuff that is interesting to some of us. So as I was digging around for some of those, I was thinking about Jeff Knox. That was a conversation from, I guess it doesn't tell us in this view, but for quite a while back. And then Cheryl Todd was the first in a series, I forget when, maybe the second or third time I began an interview series. So it was probably like 2019, maybe, that Cheryl was a guest. But I've had Cheryl as a guest a few times on different occasions. Next up is the Forge of Freedom, episode 71, and they were talking about firearms instructors that you should know. Pretty interesting list. Why don't we take a side tangent there, since we're doing this show in a different format tonight anyway, and take a look at what they said, and feel free, if you're joining us live, to comment on any of these, or if you're in the comments, or if you're in the future listening to this as a podcast, Alex Uli, then feel free to leave a comment out there. Look how long it takes my internet to show up. Come on, it's just a YouTube video, for crying out loud. So essentially what I'm trying to get into here is the description. So Forge of Freedom does Forge of Freedom. Let's make sure I'm saying it right, because remember, there was a douchebag out there before with a very similar name who was trying to use these words to elicit the goodwill of people in the community. But this is a totally different thing, a brand new thing called Forge of Freedom. And I'm sure Alex had no idea that he'd sat a name down right next to an unscrupulous exploiter from back in the day. So let's see. It says, firearms trainers you should know. And look at how great this description is. So it's got the names and links, direct links to all these different instructors. So let's take a look at who they've got as who they're suggesting. Ken Campbell from Gunsight. All right, I guess. Masad Ayub. All right, I'm down with that. Active response training. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what that is. Tom Gibbons from Rangemaster. I don't know Tom, but Tom Gibbons has the respect of almost everybody I respect. So, and let's put it this way, everybody who I know that knows Tom Gibbons and respects him is respectful, or is worthy of respect. So I only can imagine this guy's at the top level of firearms instructors. The school has definitely been around for a long time and is highly appreciated. Thunder Ranch, Clint, I never met him, but I know a lot of people that know him. And, I'm not interested in necessarily shooting long range rifle, which was his main thing for a long time. So I never went. And I also don't have this cash to get there. But I can understand the appreciation there for sure. Mike Zeeklander, another person who I'm familiar with the name, but I've never met him or experienced any shooting with him. Bill Rogers, again, highly respected, foundational in the gun community. Citizen Safety Academy, never heard of it. Never heard of this one. John Farnham, another one who's foundational, been around for a long time, very credible. Active self-promotion, not a fan. Marlon Ingram, I'm not sure who this is. Open range, NRA training, well done. Appreciate you putting it in here. Too many people are cowards and are scared to put NRA in anything because they're scared of what some idiots think about the NRA. And then David Yamane, how interesting is that? It says via Dr. William April. So I'm not sure what that's all about. I guess maybe they don't know each other. That would be an interesting thing to arrange, to get Alex and Professor Yamane together. Let's see. And then it says Tiger McKee. And there's a bunch of, I don't know, links probably to interviews with him. I don't know who that is. I think I might have heard the name before. And then Lee Weems, never heard of that one. And then Tom Grisham, I don't know why that's in here. So I don't know. What do you think of those links or those instructors? Have you heard of them? I think it's a pretty decent list, pretty solid list. It shows a very CCW-oriented, very CCW-focused version of it, and a fairly modern, but definitely a lot of tradition, a lot of foundational names in there too. So I'm curious if the Forge of Freedom, damn it, see? Sons of bitches. Forge of Freedom is a was a graduate of any of those schools, was an alumni of any of those schools. Let's see. So I guess, you could think of it like, let's think of it like music, right? Or maybe cooking. You can be appreciative of like, oh, I like jazz, or like, oh, I like eating Italian food. And then you can go learn from, like, go to Italy, or you could go, I don't know what happens with jazz, go to some jazz bar, I guess, and hang out there a lot. You can get immersed in it, and you can really become a well-versed in it, and you can understand it and appreciate it at a whole different level, right? But unless you go learn from somebody who's specifically good at teaching it, because you can go stand next to somebody who's really good. Like, you can go stand next to somebody who's really good at cooking Italian food. That doesn't make you good at cooking Italian food. In order to get good at cooking Italian food, you have to find someone who is good at teaching how to learn Italian food, right? And then you have to apply that. So I'm interested to see, what all people are doing with this, what people appreciate there. Then we got the Polite Society podcast. I didn't watch that, so I don't know. Attorneys on Retainer. Oh, I don't know what was going on there. I didn't watch that either. Then we got Ghost's show. This was Sunday, his Jarhead podcast. Now, I missed that one live, so I watched that one on the rewind. Definitely worth checking out. He only does that one like once a month or something, though. We did a show on Sunday because Gizzard won't. Let's just admit it. Gizzard is leaving us hanging over a bunch of knives. So we started doing Blades and Breakfast, starting your Sunday with sharp conversations, where we pick on knives and we poke with knives and we cut things with knives. And it's essentially, it's a very knife-oriented conversation each Sunday morning, right after the overnight, which happens on Saturdays, every other Saturday at least. For the time being, we still have the mouse parties on Saturdays, but it sounds like they might be going back to Wednesdays. So we'll find out soon whether or not we have a mouse party coming up or what's going on. Defense Dad is saying, I make great Italian food. I make instant pot spaghetti just last night with Prego. I don't know what that means. People still cook spaghetti, right? Oh, I kind of wanted this thing. It was a deal where you pull out the drawer and it's got your garbage cans on it. It was like a really strong roller shelf thingy. It wasn't a shelf, though. It was just made out of wire. But you would pull on it and you could have your garbage cans kind of pull out from underneath the sink or whatever. I thought that was pretty handy. $90 item, but it went for higher than I'm willing to pay. All right, so I've only got one more thing. That'll go about 3 minutes from now, so we'll move this over. But I'm hoping that people are still making paschetti in a without a dry spaghetti, right? You're not doing some bypass to cooking spaghetti in water. Like, oh, boiling spaghetti takes too long. I need it faster. The Prego, I can't get with you on that. Sorry. Got too much Italian in me, and yeah, I can't handle the canned. No, you don't need to do that. You're not saving any time. You're just losing, you're just losing essence. You're just losing the opportunity to enjoy fresh food. So don't eat food out of a can. You can help it, especially spaghetti sauce. Mainly because it's 90% sugar. Like, look how much sugar is in those things. That's why people like it. But I don't. So I can't get with you on that. And the spaghetti, come on. I'm not saying you got to buy a fancy spaghetti making machine, but I don't know. You got to be able to buy like pre-made spaghetti from somebody. Get some decent spaghetti. If you're gonna eat pasta, you might as well enjoy it. I think you could. But that being said, I don't ever eat that stuff either, so I care less. I guess I can't remember the last time I ate spaghetti. Can I? Ghost was talking about eating chili on top of spaghetti, and I could understand something like that. But I'm not doing that anytime soon, and I can't remember the last time I ate something like that. But I have ate something like that before. Whoops. All right, well, that put him at the top of the list there, and now I got to go find where we were, so guess we're going back through the list. Skinner, I don't know what that means. All right, so that was Saturday, and then we had this guy, this Delta guy come on, the Team House. I think it was like his third time on or second or third time on. Very good conversation, interesting conversation. And then a Combat Story, that one goes, so Team House is live, and that's live right before Gizzard, so on Friday nights. Then the Combat Story is another one that's epic. I mean, it's a must listen to. Team House is a must listen to each week. Combat Story, must listen to each week. Like I'll listen to them even if they look like they're not going to be good, because there's like a 60% ratio of even if they don't look good, they're good. And I always like them, and sometimes they're just amazing, and sometimes they're just okay, and then other times they're amazing. So it's definitely worth listening to both of these shows each week. So Team House comes out just before Gizzard live, makes it totally different than a pre-recorded show. They're getting kind of drunk on Friday night. So it's everybody's Friday night, and they're getting drunk as they do the show. Not drunk, depending on the week, I guess, depending on how much of friends they are, but they're all drinking. So the show gets better as it goes along. And then Combat Story is pre-recorded, and it comes out live. Or, I mean, it comes out as a, whatever, premieres or, comes out live. I keep saying live. It comes out on Saturday mornings. So you can wake up on Saturday and listen to Combat Story after listening to Team House the night before. And different approaches. Team House is typically the origin story, their time in service, and then what they've done after. And they'll essentially, looks like we caught another mouse. They'll essentially apply, give as much time to all three of those aspects, where Combat Story is mostly interested in the stories of their time in service. Another mouse. I'll be right back. Here, I'll put a commercial on while I'm dealing with the vermin.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
If I had a cat, this wouldn't happen. But I don't. I have to use mechanical versions of cats. All right. So then we've got... wait a minute. I did win this one. Nice. So I guess I was thinking I was going to win that one, but I already did win that one. Well played, puppy. Well played. Got that for $1. Say it. I'll buy that for $1. He doesn't like doing that. All right, so I think that's about it. So we did a Junk Guns video, on Saturday? I don't remember when I did that. I think I might have done that Saturday. But that was it. That's essentially the stuff I watched throughout the week. I don't know what you watched. But in addition to this, I would typically seek out a couple of things, which I watch on the other machine. So they're not going to show up in here. What is the name of that one? I think it's... I don't know. Do I have it in my... I never watch it on this one, so it's not in my list ever. But it's probably in my subscription list over here. I have 298 subscriptions. And the thing is, I almost never watch it on this computer. It's a saved one on my other computer, and it's not logged in, so that means it could be anywhere in here, so I might not be able to find it. But there's essentially a kind of a, it's now daily. It used to be kind of a weekly update that's worth listening to. If you're just looking for like a sit rep, a situation report of the week, and not a bunch of hype and concern and worry and, a bunch of talk for no reason again, because it's essentially just making us aware of the cycle. And yeah, I'm not going to find it. Am I? Nope, I'm not going to find it. Pretty sure I'm going through the whole thing here, haven't I? Yeah, come on. So with that, we'll quit screen sharing. We'll let her go out for the night. We've got Puppy over here paying a lot of attention to what's happening. Go say hey to the people that are joining us live, and we'll wrap it up. Oh, sorry about that, Foss. Yeah, sorry. I don't think that was Foss. I'm pretty sure Prego is the Tex-Mex equivalent of Italian food. I don't know. I don't have a problem with Tex-Mex, so that's it. I'm not sure if you're ragging on Tex-Mex there. Let's see. I'm torn. I paid off the car today. Well done. Well done. But I keep staring at a deal for a dumbass imported fake 1911 for cheap money. Don't worry about that. Don't ignore that. It's super easy to ignore a gun that as soon as someone else buys it, you can buy their regret, minus their regret depreciation. So you can buy that for like $150 as soon as somebody already owns one. I wouldn't buy that. Listen to podcasts, but nothing about 2A about the First Crusades. Yeah, I didn't listen to that either, so I don't know what that's all about. Is that the Romans or some shit going through Europe, making everybody count in metric? That was the First Crusades, where they made everybody count. And then the Second Crusades, everyone has to take a siesta at 2 p.m. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked out. Right. Well, so with that, we're going to wrap this one up. This dog will get himself a rubbin. He didn't get any treats except for DJ's 3 member super chat treats. This dog didn't get any treats. So I don't have to feel bad about that. Just have to understand that you were part of the circumstances that gave this dog no treats today. He'll be all right. He'll live through it. Look how wrinkly he is. This is how fat he normally is. He's just shrunk down so that he's got this much extra skin. But he normally would be that fat, I think, according to that skin. Hashtag belly rubs. I rub them on this area. The loins, maybe. What is this? The sweet ribs? I forget what they call this area here. The giblet. The ham. Is this his ham over here? What do you call this knee right here? I give him a rub on the knee once in a while. You don't like it. There's Crump right there saying hey. I was mentioning that we'll have Crump on Monday, I believe. Afternoon for us. All right, well, with that, we'll, right here. Isn't this his hams? Isn't this where the hams come from? I'm not talking about the beer. This dog, look how lazy he is. He doesn't even care. He could be laying on my keyboard over here. He wouldn't care. He thinks it's funny. All right, get up. Come on, man. Get up. We're done. That's it. It's over. All right, well, so not quite an hour, but close enough to an hour, as they say, for government work. We'll wrap this thing up with a few commercials. We do appreciate the people that purchase stuff over at our store. That also, along with our Patreons and channel members, gives us the ability to keep our things going. Guns, tons going down. Oh, he's saying there's a lot of stuff happening. Let's see. My uncle had a pug when I was a kid. A great dog. Shed like mad was the only bad part. I just gave this dog a bath the other day. He's doing okay. But yeah, he can shed a little bit. All right, well, so here's the deal with the stuff that's happening. Awareness breaks all of this, right? Right now, they're using the old, what do you want to call them, like platitudes? I don't know if that's the right word, but they're able to use the old BS. They're able to jump on the old knee-jerk reactions. We must do something, all those kind of things, because they understand that there's a lot of misunderstanding about firearms. So as difficult as it can be to hear that the thing that needs to be done is patience and understanding and let people get through this, understand that unless they live in Massachusetts where they do immediately change laws based on feelings and urges of a couple of politicians, most of the time nothing's going to get done immediately, and that we're not losing anything by the antis associating us with the bad people. It's their tactic. They haven't changed it. Getting mad about it isn't going to change it. But what changes it is taking people to the range when it's not crazy like this, and just sharing your like and your interest in firearms with people at work and church and school, and normalizing firearms ownership so that this stuff falls on deaf ears, which is what it is doing. They really need the 14th richest person on the planet, I think, right now, needs people to think that this situation is swaying something, because they have only a moment before it's no longer useful to them and they walk away from it. Then, after an amount of time, they know the details won't matter and they'll exploit it again. But for a moment here, this is their playbook. The other things are, again, something that people like Crump are going to pay attention to. So we need to be aware of these things. But these are all big, actions in a big, what am I trying to say? Like the big picture here is that these are brush strokes in the big picture. These are important that we understand them and are aware of them. We don't allow people to run rampant. We hold people accountable. That would be good too. But essentially, these are brushstrokes. We're going to have a lot of them. They're not ending. They're not going to change with anything we do today. And even if they did, time would eventually change them again, and we'd have to get back at it. That's what they say. Liberty requires eternal vigilance. There's a lot of wisdom there, because these are similar concerns, issues, fights, aggressions, and exploitations of the circumstances that have happened. I could just start counting off the years. So we know that these happen cyclically, that these are their reactions. We can start to take that away from them. We already have. The DC project is the Women for Gun Rights just got back from DC just prior to this. So instead of having a conversation with their representatives, with our representatives, that was in reaction to this event, it was in preparation of this event. It was prior to this event. I shouldn't say in preparation, but it was prior to this event, which means they laid a recent foundation with those representatives to, to give them some inoculation, if I'm allowed to use that word, against, the typical, what they're going to be giving us from this stuff. Right. All right, well, with that, I think I'm preaching to the choir, right? People know that they're going to use people's unawareness of firearms to attack our property and our right to own property, and they depend on us to yell, "My rights, my property," only. And then they can continue to bouncing the ball back and forth. We can catch the ball. We can stop hitting the ball. We can walk away from that game, and we can set up shop and say, hey, for people that are really interested, guns are normal. There's gun owners over here. Let's worry about the reasons why, right? The administration is doing these actions, but what are they doing about fentanyl? What are they doing about the other things that the ATF is tasked with? Alcohol, tobacco. How much of the ATF's budget, how many of their resources, how many of their staff are dedicated to alcohol, other than taxation and enforcement of taxation? But how much of it is to the public safety, the public health safety of tobacco, or the public health safety of alcohol? We know that alcohol prohibition was a failed experiment in this century, or recently, in our lifetime, in our grandparents' lifetimes, potentially. And they're attempting to do the same prohibition with guns. Yes, we have to be aware of what they're doing right now, but we also have to be aware that they're doing this in an environment of they set the stage, they expect a reaction, and the way that we break that cycle or that chain is to not give them the reaction they're looking for. We can do things in the off time between their attempts to exploit or to be jerks when situations like this happen. We can do things in between to prepare for when these times happen, so that those people in the middle aren't getting their first experience, their first conversation about guns from these news headlines. Okay, well, I'm definitely preaching, so we'll end it. Got other things I could be doing besides rubbing this dog on the face all day, but I'm rubbing this dog on the face anyway. Oh, I got a new way to end the show. I'm sitting here, I left the batteries in it and everything.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.